Welcome to Savvy Soul-U-tions with Gina Gayle. Take the journey back to me with a freedom coach and oracle. Find your Soul-U-tions by joining me, Gina Gayle. Together, we can create a powerful synergy that will take down the walls that surround your heart and allow your emotional being to guide you towards connection and compassion. Feel yourself grow ever closer to remembering who you're meant to be with my 40-day Journey Back to Me program. You have a personal power within you that I would love to help you unlock so that you can achieve your newfound freedom. Savvy Soul-U-tions with Gina Gayle starts now.
Wow. Hey, everybody. We have got a great show. I'm Dr. Pat, and I get to take this beautiful journey with Gina Gayle. And, you know, today, I love this topic today. For those of you, you should know a little bit about who she is. If you've listened to her past show, and many of you have, I know because you've been emailing us, you learn that there is something about what she does as a freedom coach, oracle, and much more. But you also understand, if you've listened to the other shows, how Soul-U-tions is the way for us to connect every part of ourselves. But even more than that, she is the creator of Take the Journey Back to Me. And Take the Journey Back to Me is part of what she does to help people all over the globe. And with that in mind, honoring her son, honoring her own journey, honoring the freedom. And one of the things that gets left out of many of the conversations that we have when we talk about transformation is the physical body. And we are not going to leave it out today. Gina Gayle is going to talk about the relationship we have. What do we do to repair it? Why do we do it? And how do we do it? Right? Gina, you ready for this?
That is right, and yes, I am. Thank you for that.
I had to learn this the hard way. And, you know, I was thinking about this the other day. You know, there's a journey that you take people on. And I'm so glad you're not like, come with me for 7 days. You're like, no, you have to go through the whole deal, right? Yes. And in 2004, when my body crashed, was 6 months after I started the show, started to do something that none of my friends supported. Nobody supported. They thought I lost my brain. They were like, you're crazy. Go get that big fat $250,000 consulting job. And I started to cry. But my body picked up a lot of the doubt and grief. Why is this physical body awareness, and how does Journey Back to Me start us to look at this? And, you know, the thing that we so ignore, it tells us so much, and we're like, I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
Exactly. We are so good at ignoring our physical body and all of the messages that it delivers to us all day, every day. And the thing is, it never stops speaking to us. And that's how we begin the very first day of the Journey Back to Me. The very first segment of the Journey Back to Me is focusing on our relationship with the physical body. And during that first 10-day period, we start with the question, and we ask ourselves this question every day for those 10 days. What am I here in this body to do? Because that immediately brings you into or reminds you of the awareness of, oh, this is me in this physical body. I have this physical body. What can I accomplish in physicality in this body? Because it is unique to everyone. No doubt. I belong in my body, you belong in your body. And that is the way that we were created. And so that awareness of, we forget that. We get so far away from the awareness of what our physical body is and what our relationship with that physical body is. And when we can shift that and come back to remembering and thinking about our physical body aspects, all the aspects, in a place of gratitude, in a place of awe and wonder for the physical body. Fascination. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm 61 years old, and I am fascinated with the things that change in my body. And it's a new discovery every day. But
Yeah.
the thing is, this, we all are hearing about the neuroplasticity of the brain due to people, geniuses like Dr. Joe Dispenza, and talking about how the brain can continue to change and grow, and so can the physical body. And the flexibility of that, and understanding that no matter what is going on, the body is all of these, it's a combination of systems. And there's the fascination.
Yeah.
The many systems, we have a skeletal system, we have a circulatory system, we have a respiratory system, we have a muscular system, we have a central nervous system. And the brilliance of all of these different systems that have come together in this skin suit, to create us, and then this is our gift, this is our vessel. What am I here to do in this physical body? That's where we start.
Yeah. I love that we're talking about this, and I love that you're starting out of the gate with that, because a lot of times people don't.
Hmm.
But how would you describe, this? Let's describe what we're talking about, the body. And I love what we're learning about ourselves and learning about things. I mean, honestly, I got out there yesterday. I bought a new lawnmower. I got out there. The lawnmower kept quitting after 5 minutes. I had a lot of lawn to cut. And I can't tell you how many times I thought I'm just going to leave it and go in, and I knew I couldn't. But my body stepped up to the challenge, right? My sense was, you can do more. You can do more. And I followed that guideline, right? Even to the very last 3 times it cut off on me. And I was shocked. I could start it every time, right? And so the body talks to us, but we all have these senses in ourselves. Talk us about the five senses, because we don't talk about this at all.
Right, right. And that's part of the gift of being a human in a body. And everybody knows about the five senses. We learn about those. We have the sense of sight, we have the sense of hearing, and smell, and touch, and taste. Those are the basic five. And they are so busy all day, every day, bringing information in to the physical body. And when they bring that information in, it is transformed within the body into messages. They are the messengers. And when it comes into the body and then processes and gives us a message, what do we do a lot of times? Unfortunately, a lot of times what people do, as soon as they get a message of discomfort or pain or dis-ease, the first thing that people go to is, oh, I must go see my doctor, or I must ask someone, well, what do you think about this? I have this pain, I have this discomfort, this is new to me, I don't know what's going on. And they go outside of themselves to find out what's going on. And that is only because we've lost the connection with our own inner knowing. We've misplaced that connection. And so we start with my program, we start with remembering that we have a relationship with this inner knowing. I truly believe that everyone is their own best specialist. And I also have a knowing that someone cannot really be a specialist for a multitude of other people. But the entire population is a specialist, but they're only a specialist to oneself, and that is the self. Yeah. And just remembering that and tapping in, and the best way to do that is to start listening to the senses, the information that the senses bring in. If you smell smoke in your house, what do you do? If you're not cooking, what do you do? Well, you better listen to that sense. You better get up and go look. If you live in a large house, you better go look. Listen to that sense. If you all of a sudden feel pain in your stomach or discomfort in your stomach, there's a message. What did I just eat? What's going on here? Is there something that I can do about this? Was that a good choice? Was that a bad choice? and on and on. If you know, we bring things in through our visual senses, we hear things all the time that we ignore, because the power of hearing is so multi-level, and we're really, really good at not paying attention to the background sounds and only paying attention to the immediate, which is why subliminal messaging works so well.
Oh my gosh, it does.
So much of that stuff that is going on and being said, and we think, oh, there's no harm to that. If you go have your oil changed in your car and one of those mainstream negative news platforms is playing on a loop, on a loop, on a loop, if you think that you're not being impacted by that, your sense is bringing that into your being, and then eventually you're going to have to process that in some way. So all of these things are the powerful messengers. Our senses are the powerful messengers of the physical body. And remembering to go back in and reconnect with that is just so important. And back to the awe and the wonder of the physical body. I learned everything about this with my journey with my son. And in 23 years, the body that he was gifted, it was not an easy body to be in. The complications and the physical struggles that he endured his entire life, he and I and everyone who helped with him looked at every one of those new situations that came up, because that's usually the path of someone who starts very early with things like he had. He was never able to walk, and he was never able to talk. And those are pretty big factors, and there were a lot of things in between. But the physical body movement part, generally what happens is well, there's a lot of things that happened, because the respiratory system is one of those systems that is really impacted when the body starts growing like a tree, and getting the contractures, and the spine goes crooked, and different things happen with the skeletal system and the muscular system, and it's all part of these degenerative conditions that people are sometimes born with and sometimes develop very early on. And each one of those, each moment of his life, each time we would wake up and a new one would appear, there was always the choice of, is this going to stop me from living out my life purpose or not? And as long as the answer was no, I am not going to allow that, we figured a way around it, through it, over it, under it, somehow continue to survive in that particular body. And the most important thing was, he was predicted to live very few years, because he was very profoundly impacted by physical issues. But the truth is, the truth that we created, because we chose not to believe that and to really honor the physical body, was he lived 23 years with one pneumonia his entire life, which is just unheard of, because pneumonia is very common in people who have compromised skeletal systems and muscular systems. And you're told in the beginning, this is what's going to happen. This is what the neurologists, the you know, all the other gists tell you, who proclaim to be the specialist for that body type, or that label, or that dis-ease, or that disorder, whatever.
Yeah.
So we started very early going, are we going to believe this? Are we going to accept this? Do we like this label? No.
I did the same thing.
Good for
How
you.
did you get there, though? But can I ask you about this? Because people will learn this when they work with you. And this is so important to tell people, because this is what they're going to learn. We would rather ignore the messages, but you had to say, oh no, right?
Right.
And didn't that send you on, just going to say it, a new path to freedom?
Yes. It sure did. It sure did. And that is what is so important. I mean, where do we start? We start right where we are. When do we start? We start today. It doesn't matter because so many people at this point are in not in a wonderful place with their physical body health and well-being.
Worse
And
than we've been in a really long time, right? You put it really kindly. Thank you for Gina Gayle Gray. So kind, so kind. But we're now getting the research on how really the state of our bodies are, right? We're now getting that research.
yes, and why do we have to wait for research? We know. We know things are happening within our body, and we always have a choice. Am I going to accept that or not? Um, I remember when I first started getting serious about strength training, and this was when Spencer was quite young, and I knew I I could see into the future far enough to know that he was going to get heavier, and I would need to stay stronger to be able to carry him everywhere, right? And I knew a lot of people at the time who also had children that were in their care. And then there's also later in life, people take care of parents, spouses, other people, and there's a there's a component to that. There's an aspect of that is the mere transferring of that person from one place to another. So when you know that you're going to be responsible for caring for someone else who their abilities will become less and less, that was my motivation. As his abilities are less and less and he continues to grow, I must become stronger and be better prepared to be his partner in this, right?
Yeah.
So again, he was just my greatest teacher on these things. We partnered with these things, the importance of, as he became less able, I must become more able. So keeping up with my strength training was really, really important. And I always encourage people to just be mindful of your own strength. You do not have to become weaker as you become older. That is not true. That is, if someone tells you that, that you're naturally going to lose muscle tone and you're naturally going to become weaker, and this is all the degeneration process that we have to accept, it's called aging, I even want to argue with that. No, and it's not that I don't want to get older, I just want to do it according to my own terms. I learned that from Spencer. He wanted to live 23 years, and the body that he lived in finally completely failed him. And we took the help along the way that we absolutely had to. One of the things that we absolutely had to, and this was before he became a respiratory patient, before he had to have the tracheostomy, he had to have a G button. So he required enteral feeding, which that was rough because he loved to eat. We loved to cook together. Nutrition was really important to us. We grew our own herbs. We made our own food. He was a foodie. I'm a foodie. I love foodies. And the nutritional aspect of that is such an important component with the physical body health and well-being. But again, that's another thing that we don't really need the research to tell us how far out of a line with nutritional health and well-being we are. What most people are feeding their body it doesn't even come close to qualifying as food. And the nutritional value is it's criminal. What's been done to our food source, and then what we choose to bring into our body. So that's a big component in the physical body 10 days of the journey back to me. Is again, I'm not here to make anyone feel bad about what they're eating, but to help guide people into an awareness of, take a close look at what you are bringing into your physical body in the form of food and supplements and drinks, and then beyond that, what about the air you're breathing? Are you inside all the time? Are you inside a large building? All of these things are, consider, what are you bringing into your body through all 5 of your senses? What are you bringing into your physical body through what you're choosing to listen to every day? Are you listening to garbage? Are you listening to fear porn? Are you at the all-you-can-eat buffet of fear porn? And if you think that's not impacting your physical being, I can assure you that it is.
Yeah. No,
And
and it's no, and look, this is something what you're saying is so important that we are not even acutely aware of the number of subliminal and not so subliminal messages that are in front of us. I mean, even when you drive down the road, Gina Gayle, you drive down the road and there's a sign and you see it, it's in,
right.
right? You turn on your TV. Let's say you turn on your TV and you think, oh, I'm just going to mute this, but you're still staring at it. I mean, there's just so many things. But what I love about this is you guide people through this on the journey. And so the hardest part of all of this is when you have to do it alone. And I would not be here today if I had to do this alone. I mean, I was like you. I had to, something wasn't sitting right. It just wasn't sitting right. And I started to reach out and say, well, maybe I need to go to this over here. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, where are you now? What is it about when I say you don't take the journey alone? What is it about this part of the journey with Gina Gayle that demonstrates it? Before we go to break, can you tell people how they can find out about the journey, how they can find out about you? Because they don't take the journey alone, they take it with you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
Yeah.
best place to reach out to you?
Yeah, come to my website, anywheremindbodysoul.com. And any day is a good day to start. You can either join in on a group or you can just sign up. It's very easy to sign up. Click, go to my page, send me a message, say I'm interested, and then I will reach back to you and we'll talk about it.
I love it. And then we're going to take a short break. When we come back, everybody, this is now part two. What is it that Gina Gayle does? When we say support, everybody may have their own opinion, but I'm telling you, you take this journey with her and there is support on the way. When we come back, if you're thinking, oh, I can't move. Oh, I can't do the lawnmower. Oh, you know what? You're so much more powerful than you really think you are. You just need that reinforcement, and she is the person to do it. Benny, Jacob, let's go to a short break. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. So great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. This is a really important conversation because it's so great that there is somebody out there like Gina Gayle Gray. Hi, Ben. Hi. And part of what we're looking at for today's show is how do you get on board? How do you get going? What is it you want to do? And she is the one that knows how to guide you along. And I love that before the break, we were talking about you can just get in, you can jump in, you can start. This is physical body relationship repair. We're talking about why and we're talking about how. We're going to talk about how in a minute. But tell people how they can get involved, how they can become back how they become part of Journey Back to Me.
Well, there's two different ways that I do the program, that I offer the program. The first is an individual basis. The day that you decide is the day that we begin. And the program is the same, it's just delivered either privately or in a group. So either way, and you go to my website, anywheremindbodysoul.com, and sign up. Send me a message. That starts the connection. I will message you back and give you further information. There's a lot of information on my website detailing the parts of the program. And what we're talking about today is the first 10-day part of the program, because the first 10 days we focus on our relationship with the physical body. The second 10 days, we focus on our relationship with our emotional body. And we're going to talk about that in my next show with you, which will be next month.
Yeah.
And then the third 10-day period is we're going to talk about the mental body. And the final 10-day period, we talk about the soul body, which is the connection between it all. And I love to help people on an individual basis, and I really love to help people in the group program that I present, because in that group you have the supportive power of you're taking the journey alongside other people. So when we do the Zoom meetings in between, the transition between each 10-day period, in that group, that sharing and support from fellow journeyers is just such a beautiful thing. So that's one aspect of the group program, and my next one is starting on June 29th. Another cool aspect about the group program is we start them on a new moon. And I take people into the realm of when you connect, if you want to begin anew, if you want to start your way back to yourself, which is what the journey back to me is, I want to return you to yourself, your true highest self, which is your soul being. And starting that process on a new moon, we engage the power of that new moon. Whatever zodiac sign that it's in comes with unique energies from the cosmos. And so we just bring that energy in and present some information about that too. Helps to bring people into a deeper connection with the earth and the cosmos while journeying back to me as a physical being.
When we think about this, and this is really important because now we're going to get to the really core issue of some of this. And the really core issue is, how do you get the support? Because when people look at their lives, it's overwhelming and it's daunting, isn't it? I mean, you and I know that. We've done it. We've looked at ourselves. And then, out of the seed comes this really strong tree that allows people to get guidance, to get support. And you have a number of ways you do that. You start with the journey map. I mean, this is so well thought out and it's so supportive of people. Talk about how now you're in there now supporting people.
Well, we start with, as you said, it's a map. I've created a map for each of the 10-day periods. And so when we start with the physical body, that map is the most involved. And the first section of the map is the introspective part where I'm encouraging you to really look closely at your relationship with your physical body. And there's 11 questions. And during that 10-day period, I ask you to ask yourself those 11 questions every day. And the feedback that I get from clients, first feedback is usually, I never thought to ask myself that, which is exactly why I designed the questions the way I did. For instance, asking, and it's all a rating on that particular map. It's rate your, how do you feel about your physical body flexibility today?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why does my flexibility matter? Well, I'm 61 years old and I've practiced yoga for 45 years and I now teach yoga. Flexibility is important for multiple reasons. Not just with the physical body skeletal system, but the integration of all of the systems once again. How do you feel about your relationship with what you ate today? That's a big one because so many people, they jump in and they decide and they think I'm going to start a new diet and exercise program, which is not what the journey back to me is.
Right.
But yeah, how do you feel about your relationship with what you brought into your body today? Because that is so empowering when you really take a good look at that and know that any answer is okay. I'm there to support you and remind you, ask yourself these questions every day for 10 days and encourage you that you will learn a lot about yourself. And then you will go deeper into whatever area of that you want to go deeper in. How do I feel about my physical body's strength today? I ask myself that question when I do some either my strength training routine or my yoga routine. If I can't do as many push-ups or if I don't have the endurance to do my yoga on the beach, I want to know why was that off today? Why didn't I perform, to my own expectations? It's a good question to ask. How do I feel about why I didn't perform? There's so much involved in all of this, and this is just a great place to start. And so after the 11 questions, the next part of the map is I'm going to ask you to ask yourself or document each day, how did I move my body today? And unfortunately, the world that we're living in right now, with this wonderful gift that we have of Zoom and this connection. You know, all of when the world was put on lockdown, Zoom came through, right? And we all found a way to connect and to keep our jobs, and to it became a great source for our entertainment, our knowledge, our learning. So many good things came out of it and are still coming out of it. However, sitting in a chair in front of a computer for hours and hours and hours and hours every day, movement, where has movement gone? And everybody is hearing, you know, that the sitting is becoming the new smoking because there's such a lack of movement, physical body movement. So again, start somewhere. 20 minutes 3 times a day is a great place to start. And
Yeah.
I will provide that encouragement for people every day. In addition to the map and asking you to complete the questions and complete the map each day during each period, I also give an inspirational message every day for 40 days. So, and it's your choice if you read it or not. It's your choice. It's always going to be positive. I can absolutely guarantee that it is a positive, inspirational message to keep you going and to encourage you and to know that I'm there beside you. So if you're doing it individually and all you have access to is email, I will send you that message email. If you use Telegram, I will send you that message on your Telegram. If we're doing a group, it will be in a Telegram group. The point is, I remind you every day for 40 days, I'm there encouraging you. The most important, or my favorite part of the map for the physical body 10-day period is, this is the question. This is the question that stumps people because they confuse the two. How did you nurture yourself today?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I mean, right? That's like an oh boy.
Yeah. Because and even when people, when we get in the groups and people answer the question if asked, it's oftentimes no, let me ask you again. How did you nurture yourself today? How do you honor your physical body? How do you feel about your physical body? Because however you feel about your physical body comes out in your behavior, comes out in how you then treat it, just like with everybody else. But this is all about the journey back to me, so it's all about how. Look at this. What did you do to nurture yourself today? Did you take some time to just be fascinated with your own body? How about laugh at your body? I had to learn to laugh at my body as I got older, right? And it's not easy because we're you know, we see things like with the aging process or with anything where you become less, or you don't like to look in the mirror for whatever reason. There's lines that show up, there's things that happen with the skin, there's things that happen with, and how do you feel about that? So nurturing yourself is probably the thing that I want to encourage the most during that physical body period. So you can nurture yourself with a multitude of ways. You can nurture yourself with movement. You can nurture yourself with hydration. You can nurture yourself with the things that you choose to eat, the actual nutrition, which is vital. And yeah, I can talk a lot about nutrition because I'm also a holistic nutrition coach. I went to the David Wolfe School of Holistic Nutrition, and David Wolfe is an absolute genius with his knowledge of natural health and wellness. And
no question.
yeah, and it's easy stuff. And when you think about your relationship with the foods that you're eating, so one of the things that I started doing quite a while ago was asking people, and this is incorporated into the journey back to me also with this portion of it. Every meal that you eat during the day, if you look at that before you eat it, ask yourself how many colors of the rainbow are on that plate of food. And now when I'm talking about the colors in the food, because when I did this with my daughter in the beginning, she loves cheese, and she wanted to know if cheese counted as orange. No, Alexis, it does not count because I'm talking about natural pigments, natural color pigments. And so it's a fascinating process because these colors are related to the chakras. are
Yeah.
related to the rainbow. All, you know, it's all related. And when you have a plate of food that has the color red pigment for your root chakra, the color orange pigment for your sacral chakra, the color yellow pigment for your solar plexus chakra, the color green for your heart chakra, the color blue for your throat chakra, the color purple for your first eye chakra, and the color white is what I use for the crown chakra. When every plate of food that you eat has every one of those colors, and you know the best way to get that? A giant salad.
Oh boy, yes, right?
I, I can't put enough color in my salad, and then I take pictures of it, and then I celebrate. You know, there's avocado and the lettuces and the purple lettuce and blueberries, because blue is a really hard pigment to find in food. It's either blue green algae or it's blueberries. So getting that blue in, and guess what? That's for the throat chakra. How
Yeah.
many of us are having throat chakra issues or throat issues? The thyroid epidemic that is all related to, it's all related to the energy center
Mm.
of the throat chakra. So eat more blueberries. So when it comes to, I'm not going to criticize you for what you eat, or any of the things that really don't count, but when I ask you to record and really look at what you're eating every day, if it doesn't have these colors in it and the natural color pigments, you're just shorting yourself. And if you add those in, you start feeling better.
Yeah. I love this. I love that we're talking about this because the way you're breaking it down for us is what we're looking at is if you do it this way, it's so cool. And you're right. oranges, oranges and cheese may have the same color, but that's not the idea. But you know, it's really fascinating. You and I were talking during the break, and there's a place in Seattle I used to go all the time, and it was the best. It was steamed vegetables, tofu, brown rice, and their homemade tahini. And I was sitting there this weekend as I was thinking and feeling my bone, just a lot of exercise in the yard, and thinking, man, I wish I had that. And you're right about the colors of the rainbow, because when you look at it on the plate, you can see it. Part of what happens is you don't go to the next step. And that's what you help people with. It's the next step. Like, how hard would it be to get the vegetables? As a matter of fact, you know, if you don't have the time to, I ask myself, why don't I have these organic frozen vegetables that are pretty good? Why don't I just start there? See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what we're talking about? Why
Yeah.
don't we just start there? Well, we don't, because we don't hold ourselves accountable, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to do for me, and I'm pretty disciplined.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also really fascinating to me when I think about what do we need to do? This is the only body we have. This is it. And why do we believe? My friend said to me once, I don't do a lot of studying in this area, but my friend said to me, you know, you're talking about a body that's not going to work for you. Why did these people live for 200 and 400 and 800 years? Do you believe they did, Pat? And I would think, well, my stepmom helped me with that. And I do. But why do we now think we can't? And what if we knew what to do? That's what we're going to talk about next. We're going to take a short break, everybody. When we come back, we're going to talk about what can you do. 10 days. Think about it. It's like no time. It's like you blink. What can you do in 10 days? We're going to hear from Gina about that, Gina Gayle, great about that, because why? She does it. Go look at her website. We'll give that out. People are raving about this. And before you know it, you have transformed. Let's take a short break, everybody. Benny, Jacob, we'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I mean, this is so incredible. For those of you out there that are thinking, I need to find a way, I need to tell my friends, I need to really do this and do this with somebody that has laid something out that is so profoundly powerful. And yet, for a lot of you, you may be thinking, oh, it's no, it's not hard, because you're working with somebody that is going to guide you. You're going to guide you. You're working with somebody that not only is just going to lay it out, there's like a roadmap here. You can go to anywhere mindbodysoul.com and check it out. And it is about taking the journey back to me. See, back to me. Um, Gina, look, this is so exciting, but this last piece about what you can do in 10 days, this is mind blowing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And 10 days is, it's a very manageable piece of time. Anything can be started in 10 days. You know, maybe you just need to remember and reconnect. Maybe you need a little repair. If it, which again is why we start with the physical body. If you're going on a journey, you want to prepare your vessel. You want to prepare your physical body. And possibly that means there's some need for repair. But you have to find out where and what, and then I can help you with the how. You know the why, because
Yeah.
you want to feel better, you want to do more, you want to. And remember the question that we're asking during this 10-day period: what am I here in this physical body to do? Doing this is the physicality. And when our doing this is impacted by all of these physical body issues, we kind of give up on our physical doingness, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, I can't do that anymore. I really loved doing that, but I can't do that anymore. Well, why? Well, because this thing happened. So the whole story that is told, again, my greatest teacher, Spencer, every time that something new came along, like when he had the RSV and he had to have the tracheostomy and we had to have a ventilator to carry around, well, he'll never be able to this and this and this again. It's like, really? Watch us. And the key to that, the key to his living another 7 years after that, was nutrition. Because all of his food, I decided to really understand the connection between, and he became a respiratory patient and he had a G button. And I really quickly figured out the connection. As soon as I would give him one of the feedings of this creamy, milky formula crap that they prescribed for him, his respiratory, we would suction, we would suction, we would suction. And it didn't take long at all to figure out the connection between what we were feeding him and it was, setting off his respiratory dishealth. So that's when we began making his food.
Wow.
And yeah, it was, everybody said you can't do that. It's too much work. It won't, it's, no, just go ahead and use what we've been giving you. No, we're going to get back in the kitchen and we're going to make the things that he loves to eat that have the nutritional value that we're in control of. As soon as we did that, his respiratory health started improving. He needed less suction. He could get off the ventilator more often. The desire was we were going to end up not needing the ventilator at all. That didn't come to fruition, but the importance of the nutrition, what we are eating, and how it relates to all the rest of our bodily expressions is real. And I can definitely help people with my map and then with my guidance find out
Yeah.
what areas have the greatest needs, what areas in your body speak to you the loudest, and why are you ignoring them?
Yeah. And the other thing that I want to ask you about, and I want to get back to the map, because a lot of times we don't start because we don't know where we're going. We don't have a map, right? And if you think about that metaphor for a minute of getting in your car and somebody gives you a beginning point, you know you have an end point, but there is like nothing in the middle, right? It's hit or miss. And I think when you can see a roadmap, you can also measure yourself. You can also look at yourself. What I love about this journey back to me is that you do it in a non-judgmental way, because you're meeting people where they are. It's fascinating. I had a friend that she said, oh, I can't move. I've gained so much weight. And I said, you know what? When I had my knees, I got this little pedal stepper. Put it, put it where you're sitting and just move it. And even that builds confidence. I want to ask you this last question. all of this is about regaining our freedom back, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It is empowering and reminding you that you do have this power. It was programmed into your DNA, and people have forgotten that. When we're in the womb, our DNA is creating us completely. It knows how to do that. If it knows how to create you, your mother doesn't create you, you create yourself when you're in the womb. When you come out, there is no one in a white coat that puts your legs on you, puts your ears on you. You have done that yourself. And the miracle just of that, that the DNA that comes with us, that is us, our soul, our being, is bring back that power. I want to help people remember that fascinating part of the physicality of being here. And we just go from this 10 days into the emotional being, which is really, really important too, into the mental being. The mental being is where the monkey mind is running all these programs that we can eliminate those and come back into the soul knowing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a strategic path that I guide people on to the journey back to me. And a lot of times, as soon as we get there, as soon as we finish that 40-day period and we have answered those questions, the what next is, oh, there's another layer.
Yeah. But of course there is, because let's just wrap it up for a minute by saying this. We didn't get here overnight. No. Right? I mean, it took me months to figure out what was affecting my metabolism. Months. Actually, it took me about 6 months on a particular medication that was helping in other parts so I wouldn't have nerve damage, but I didn't really do my homework. And then you have to have the inspiration to change, and that's what you provide. Thank you so much for everything. I would love to know your personal message, and please tell people how they can work with you.
Come to my website and sign up. I can customize a program. I can support people in their journey, which is that's why I'm still here, is to guide people on their journey, because it is well worth it. You are worth it. And when you remember your power, when you can say, here I am, alive, fully empowered to be who I am and do what I came here to do. That first 10-day period, we're figuring out, what did you come here to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about it. And again, I want to say this, people will be able to see what other folks have been saying about what you're doing. The idea is, this is a beautiful 40-day strategy. It takes into consideration every aspect of who we are. And it has someone like you to guide people in a kind, gentle, and expansive way. And that is really what we need now, because what we're about to do is really hard to do alone. Thank you, Gina Gayle. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Wow, so much more to come. Powerful, powerful program. Many of you have written to us and have told me about it. As a matter of fact, you know, what you've said is you want to hear more and know more. Go to the website, call her, connect with Gina Gayle, and take action today. We know you can do it. Thank you, Gina Gayle. Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Jacob. We'll see you in a minute, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Savvy Soul-U-tions with me, Gina Gayle Gray. Take the journey back to me with a freedom coach and oracle on transformationtalkradio.com. Come back every fourth Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific to further your progress towards rediscovery. You can also join my 40-day Journey Back to Me program to unlock your true potential and reunite with your soul. There's no time to waste. I'll share Spinspirations, which are messages from a spirit named Spencer, and lead you toward your Soul-U-tions. Go to anywheremindbodysoul.com and ask for a complimentary Mind, Body, and Soul session. That's anywheremindbodysoul.com.